right on East Illinois Street. Turn right on East Illinois Street, then turn left on Warren Streeter Drive.
What streets we're on? And I said, you're going back the way we came, but that's not where we're going.
মুসান্ডা হ্যাঁ ভয় পাও কেন বৃষ্টি পড়লে?
হ্যাঁ ভয় পাই আমরা অসুস্থ নিয়ে হবে সর্দি টর্দি হয়
And yes, in case you haven't already noticed, we also have a full service bar. There we go. Sylvia is back there serving up anything you folks can possibly need. Keep yourselves hydrated on this hot day. It's a see her and see her often, but be warned, the bar is card only, no cash.
Specifying in area because somebody called me out once. So I would just say it was the third largest. It's the second largest in volume, third largest in area. But I think that's a little bit of a cheat because it switches with Lake Huron. And if it weren't for a mountain range, those would be the same lake. So I protest. This place where the lake meets several waterways, including the Chicago River, all of which abuts up next to expansive prairies to the west, made it vital for the native people that called it home. Chicago sits on the traditional unceded homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, and many other tribes, including the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, and Sac and Fox, also called this area home. Their travels can actually be seen in the roads that cut diagonally across our city's grid. And what I mean by that is, I live near one of these diagonal roads, and aside from noting that it makes an annoying six-way intersection near my apartment, I didn't give it much thought. But when I started preparing for this job, I realized that Chicago's a bit unique in how much planning actually went into the city around the time of its incorporation in the first place. But if you look at a map, they all lead to the lake because they're all built over traditional Native American trails. These weren't rinky-dink little walking trails either. These were 10 to 15 foot wide trails, which just goes to show how many Native people relied on the natural resources in this region. Their impact can also be seen in many of the names in the region, including the name of the lake, which comes from an Algonquin word, Michigami, which means great water. And then, of course, there's the name of the city itself. When the first European settlers arrived here, they found primarily wetlands in which ramps, a type of pungent wild leek, a relative of onion and garlic, grew in abundance. The Miami, Illinois word for this plant was chicaque, which the first French settlers interpreted as Chicagoa. So that's how we get the name of the city. You know how New York is the Big Apple? I think that technically makes us the stinky onion. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but an onion a day works on everybody. Now, full confession, I'm not actually originally from Chicago. I'm a transplant. I moved out here from the Pacific Northwest just a few years ago. But I'm telling you right now, it did not take me long at all to fall absolutely in love with the city of Chicago. And one of the things that made me fall madly, deeply in love with Chicago, we're about to see actually as we pass under DuSable Lakeshore Drive. This view of the city opening up before us is stellar. Now here's the thing, everything I've said up to this point has pretty much been preamble. This has been the credits rolling at the beginning of the film. But the view that we're about to see as we pass under DuSable Lakeshore Drive, this is the establishing shot. So I'm actually going to take a brief moment off the mic so that we can all sort of take this in together and enjoy the break, because very few of them happen through this tour. I pretty much go non-stop for 75 minutes. That's a good looking city. The first building I'm going to tell you about is actually up ahead on our left. It's this beautiful blue ombre building with the 3 towers that ascend up into the sky. This is the St. Regis. Completed in 2020, it is the 3rd tallest building in Chicago, and it is the tallest building in the world designed by a woman. This was designed by Jeannie Gang of Studio Gang. There's actually a lot more that I want to tell you about the St. Regis, but I need to provide you with some context first, about 75 minutes worth. So I'll talk about it again on the return trip. But I'm not going to not mention it at the outset. Now up ahead on the river, there's a couple of bridges down. There's actually Lake Michigan. I'm sorry, Michigan Avenue is up there, which is where the lake met the river when the first European settlers arrived in this area. Now, that means that the land on either side of us right now is all man-made. And one of the interesting stories about the land on our right in particular is in 1886, a man named Captain George Wellington Streeter got his boat stuck on a sandbar in Lake Michigan. Now, as I go through the rest of the story, you're going to have to picture so many air quotes, because Captain Streeter was a former carnival man, and his accounts can't really be taken at face value. But Captain Streeter got his boat stuck on a sandbar in Lake Michigan, and sand continued to collect around